Hi guys, in this video I'm gonna continue to talk a little bit about space-related topics, and specifically um, colonizing Mars, or going to Mars. What's going on with that red planet? Um, well, as of right now, I believe we have two major ideas that are stacked up. NASA is planning to send a probe to land on Mars, and then take off and return back to Earth with the sample. And then, perhaps in 2030, or around there, they want to actually send somebody to Mars. So, it's sort of going to be like a 1-2 process. And interestingly enough, moon colonization has become part of this plan. We're basically going to be we'll be setting up a colony on the moon to test out what it's like living on off Earth for extended periods of time, and to possibly have a launch point that's more direct than trying to get out of the Earth's atmosphere, which is much more difficult than getting off the moon. But so yeah, so we're gonna have this moon colonization, sending a probe there that will return, and then a decade afterwards, um, Mars colonization. Now, there's a few issues with this, and a few comments about this. This is all going to happen in between 2010 and 2020. I'm not sure exactly when. They keep changing the dates. I keep hearing we're going back to the moon in 2019. Then I've heard we're going back to 2016. I'm not sure when this. I'm not really sure when this is happening exactly, but it's going to be within this 10-year time frame. And then fast forward a little bit, and then in 2029, 2030, we hopefully will be going to Mars, like physically sending real people over there. Now that's exciting in and of itself, and it's kind of exciting that hopefully, who's ever watching this, all of us are going to be around when this happens. So this is going to be a very historic moment. I think not only in the history of human history, but the history of Earth. Any species that has come from Earth is, I don't know, it's a great historical moment for our entire planet, evolutionarily, and as human beings. So it's quite amazing. Um, the details of colonization, of course, is going to be tricky. We don't really have a specific plan yet. We have a lot of ideas on how to get there and where to go. One such idea is to actually go underground and use caverns and caves as sort of a natural insulator from the rest of the environment, where hopefully there'll be liquid water, minerals, and perhaps organic life. Um, that's one idea. Another idea is, setting up uh, surface colonies where the surface is much harsher, so um, I believe they're doing studies in the desert now, training people how to survive. I think it's like a 1 month or 3 month testing period where they send people out there, um, keep them under strict, not just strict surveillance, but also they have to follow very specific rules, mimicking the conditions that are on Mars. So if they're not wearing their suit properly, etc., they have to be very careful about all of that. So that's what we're trying to do right now. We're in basically the prep stages for colonizing Mars and the moon. Although, one of my questions is, it's easy to take off from the moon, right? But we're going to have to get all those supplies anyway off Earth, no matter what. So I guess going to the moon is a way to um, make it easier somehow. Maybe we can just stuff everything in bulk in a couple of moon missions, um, and then construct what we need to construct on the moon or something like that, to get to Mars. And that way we don't have to worry about limitations of anything that we send to Mars being limited due to the amount of cargo a rocket can withstand. I mean, I guess that's the only explanation I have, really. Why go to the moon when we want to go straight to Mars? There are other people who don't want to go to the moon. Um, there's arguments going back and forth as to whether or not we should really go to the moon first. I think we should have been going to the moon this whole time. I mean, years and years ago, we already went there, and it's like we're having a second space race for something we already accomplished. Um, but one explanation for that is, of course, when Columbus first discovered the New World, nobody went to the New World for 150 years or so. There was no colonization, there was no mass exodus from Europe. Even though they had this abundant land and they had the ships to do it, it just didn't really impact them. And it took a long time for it to influence the people, for us to go over there and go ahead and start colonizing. So the theory is that the same thing's happening right now. We went to the moon in 1969, and we did it, and that was it. It wasn't really coming into our mind to colonize. But that all may be changing very soon, and perhaps and hopefully much faster than it took Columbus. It's already been, what, 69 to now? It's like 40 years or so. I mean, it's been a while. And at the rate technology and culture and everything is evolving, maybe it won't take so long. Maybe it won't take 150 years. Hopefully not. As far as living on Mars is concerned, I mentioned the surface colony and underground colonies. I think they're both good ideas. There's problems for both, of course. There's another TED Talk that's really good about this. If I can find that, I'll put that up on here. That basically describes the whole theory of living underground on Mars, natural protection from storms, and using simpler equipment that doesn't need to withstand a lot of the weather that's on Mars. So, I mean, it's a good possibility, and I think it could work. We're probably, I mean, I don't hear much talk about that, so I don't know if we're going to be exploring that too much. The main ideas are building some kind of return module on Mars, which is what we're going to be practicing for with the probe mission. We're going to send, we're going to see if we can build some kind of platform where the astronauts can eventually take off from Mars. Other theories are we're going to send a couple of people, and it'll be extended periods of time that they're going to stay, in which a small colony will build up and build up until we finally have a way to relaunch. It's a dangerous task, but it'll be very exciting to watch this on television when we're, 20 years from now, maybe even sooner. I really hope it happens sooner, but I don't know. At the rate the economy is right now, and at the rate that our interest in space is still taking a while to build up again, I can't see it happening so rapidly. But hopefully it will be happening soon enough, and I will post a couple of links with some of the details to the Mars exploration and colonization missions. Thanks for listening.